Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty specific but really interesting from the revised Penal Code, Article 15.
That's right. We're digging into what the law calls alternative circumstances.
In the mission today, to really unpack one of them, intoxication, how it can, swing a case.
Exactly. There are three main ones listed: relationship, intoxication, and the defendant's level of instruction or education.
And the unique thing is they're not automatically good or bad for the defendant, right? They can cut both ways.
Precisely. They can mitigate, meaning lessen the penalty, or they can aggravate, making it worse. It depends entirely on the specifics.
So intoxication, it's not just saying, oh, they were drunk. It's like this legal switchblade, almost. We need to figure out when drinking helps the defendant legally and when it hurts.
Let's start with the helping part, mitigation. When does the law see intoxication as something that lessens responsibility?
Okay.
Well, there are two key conditions. First, the intoxication cannot be habitual. They can't be, a habitual drunkard.
Right. And second,
it cannot be intentional, meaning it wasn't something they did after deciding to commit the crime. It has to be sort of accidental intoxication.
accidental.
Yeah,
Because the idea is their willpower, their ability to reason was impaired unexpectedly.
that's the core logic. Willpower is impaired, so culpability might be slightly less.
Okay, but then it flips. If it is habitual or if it was intentional, then it becomes aggravating, makes things worse.
Yes, exactly. If the person generally drinks excessively, habitually.
What does habitual actually mean in court terms? Does it mean drinking every single day?
Not necessarily daily, no.
Mhm.
The cases suggest it has to be an actual and confirmed habit. There was one case where showing the person was seen drunk like 12 or more times was enough. It has to be proven as a pattern.
Okay, so it's a pattern, not just a one-off bad night. And what about the intentional part? That sounds deliberate.
It is. Intentional intoxication is when someone decides to commit a crime,
Mhm.
maybe gathers what they need, and then drinks.
Why? To get courage.
Yeah, either to get that liquid courage, find a stimulant to go through with it, or maybe even to try and numb their conscience beforehand. The law sees that as making the act worse. They used alcohol as part of the plan.
Wow, okay. That makes sense. Now let's talk proof. This seems critical. You can't just claim you were drunk.
Absolutely not. The state of intoxication has to be proved. And, crucially, self-serving statements from the accused. They're generally not enough on their own.
So what kind of proof works? What's the standard?
It comes down to what we call the mental faculty test. The intoxication, however, it's proved maybe through witnesses or tests, if available, must be shown to have reached a level where it genuinely blurs reason.
Blurs reason, meaning...
Meaning it significantly deprived the offender of self-control. It has to diminish their capacity to really understand that what they were doing was wrong. It's about impact on judgment.
That sounds like a pretty high bar to clear. I saw some examples in the sources, like just smelling of wine wasn't enough, or even having a lot of liquor nearby.
Correct. Those things alone don't prove the effect on the person's mind. The courts look at what the person did.
Ah, so their actions during or after the crime.
Exactly. If the accused seemed fully aware of what was happening, if they remembered details later, or if they managed to carry out complex tasks.
Like, say, giving a precise injection, as one case mentioned.
Yes, things like that. If they could do something requiring focus and thought, the court is likely to say, well, the intoxication clearly wasn't severe enough to destroy your capacity to reason. So, no mitigation.
Okay, this is fascinating, but there's a twist here, right? A legal presumption that kicks in.
This is really key. Once the defense does manage to satisfactorily prove that the person was intoxicated to a significant degree,
Then what?
then the law actually presumes that this intoxication was not habitual and unintentional.
Whoa, wait, so the burden shifts.
Completely. The prosecution then has the job of proving, beyond a reasonable doubt, that either the drinking was habitual or that it was intentional, done specifically for the crime. If they can't prove that, the presumption stands.
That's a huge advantage for the defense, assuming they can establish the initial intoxication.
It is. It's a critical point in how these cases play out.
Now, just quickly circling back, you mentioned lack of instruction or education level as another alternative circumstance, and sometimes it gets grouped with non-habitual intoxication.
Yeah, sometimes you see them discussed together. Things like non-habitual intoxication, maybe low education, or acting in a state of obfuscation or sudden confusion.
Why group them?
Because they all point to the same underlying idea, a diminished capacity for reasoning. Whether it's temporary from alcohol or maybe more sustained due to lack of instruction, the law considers that the person's ability to fully grasp their actions might be impaired. It's about the disturbance of their reasoning powers.
So it all comes down to the state of mind, the ability to reason and understand.
Pretty much.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you listening to this when it comes to intoxication in court?
Yeah, the crucial thing isn't really how much someone drank. A bottle, a six-pack, whatever.
Right, that's not the main point. The main point, the thing the law really cares about, is whether that drinking actually destroyed their capacity to reason, to understand the consequences, to control themselves. That's the line.
And crossing that line, or not, based on the evidence, that's what can mean the difference between a lighter sentence or a much heavier one. It's all about that mental state.